There's a podcasting club?
That's what we're hosted with. Sorry.
As they both zone out into oblivion. As the soul of the podcasting club claims their neurons.
Hello and welcome to Fools in Fiction. The fiction this week is My Hero. And I know you're thinking, my God, how many times can these idiots make an episode on that? But I promise.
Thinking, how many times can these idiots make an episode?
That's fair. When will we stop? Someone should stop us.
They get the notification. They're like, "Oh God, he's still alive."
But yeah, we're taking a different angle to it. We also have two of our friends here. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hello, I am Rane Squires.
Hi, I'm Skull. I was Skull last time I was on, right?
You're still Skull, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That has not changed.
Also known as Rachel, just because we may refer to you that.
No, Rachel's somewhere else in the room.
Physically present, but mentally.
Evan was there, it's like the end of Wizard of Oz. But yeah, so this started off by Rane talking to me about villains in like the parking lot next to Blow, and it went on for like 5 minutes, and then I'm like, wait, no, be quiet. We should do a podcast episode on this because we have one of those now.
I mean, I did introduce the topic to you as we need to do a podcast episode about this.
Oh, I know you did, but like it didn't fully register in my brain until like we went into it a little bit too much, and I'm like, oh wait, we should do a podcast episode on this. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, that's why Rane said that.
He was trying to make a better story.
Shh.
Look,
half of that is true, and half of that is I genuinely like didn't think about it for a bit. No, so Rane and I will be carrying this, and Finn and Rachel are here.
Yeah, I've got pretty bad memory for the My Hero Academia villains, unfortunately.
I think that is because up until this point in the anime, they have not been really well done, in my opinion.
I would disagree with you. I think that they've been well done, but the point so far hasn't been to have them be memorable or interesting.
That's fair enough. That I should have qualified by saying not well done, but like they aren't supposed to be pressing.
Well written, but not interesting yet.
Yeah,
or it's kind of a complex thing to say. Is that the point was for them to be bad at being bad?
Yeah,
or anything else, really.
Because Shigaraki shows up and is like, "Fuck, All Might isn't here. Why don't we go home?" And Kurogi is like, "Maybe."
Shigaraki shows up and goes, "I have no opinions."
You're giving me a look for how I say his name. When I hear it in the anime, it sounds like Kurogi from what I see, but it is written out
Kurogi.
Yeah, exactly. Kurogiri.
It's
Kurogiri.
So I don't hear that vowel in there at all.
Here's a trick. Watch it dubbed.
Oh, that's fair. But Kurogiri is just like, I mean, I guess we can leave. And then Shigaraki's like, wait, no, kill the kids. And I'm like, how is that an afterthought to you? Man who is supposed to be
killing the kids,
new face of evil.
Killing the kids is always an afterthought for me.
Yeah. I'm like, I should probably kill the kids.
And that's actually a really interesting way to start, because that is exactly how Shigaraki is presented the first time he shows up. He basically has these vague opinions, and he's doing stuff, and he's a real bad guy, but he doesn't really care about much.
He's like if Guy Fawkes just really half-assed it.
He's just doing stuff, and I think that what's going to have made him a good villain is how his arc goes from being this nobody who does nothing to being a real villain for real reasons.
Yeah.
Eventually.
My big thing is he feels like when you have a friend that's like a huge political activist and you kind of like sponge off some of their ideology, but you don't do anything about it, like I do. Yeah. Where I'm just like, something capitalism is bad, and they're like, dude, I saw you spend $100 on like something frivolous. I'm like, yeah. It'd be like that. So he's just like, man, fuck the heroes, and you're like, why?
Like, why? And he's like, something heroes bad.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, but really, though, what's your problem with them? And he's like, something All Might. And it's like, all right, okay,
To be
sure.
fair, in the beginning, it's just my shriveled up raisin dad told me that heroes suck.
He's
so
not a
I hate
raisin.
them.
He looks like a thumb.
He's some kind of
Thumb?
wrinkled abomination.
Look, Thumb makes me deeply uncomfortable because I've seen Spy Kids.
That's
So we're
exactly
going with
what.
raisin.
No, that's what we brought up when we went back and we watched it. We literally brought up where we were like, he looks like the thumb minions from Spy Kids.
Either way, he was definitely laid out in the sun for way too long.
Yeah.
Friendly reminder: he is based on Darth Vader.
Like,
Right, so
very vaguely.
Thumb Vader told Shigaraki that heroes were bad, and Shigaraki was like, I guess heroes are bad.
And also Kurogiri was there.
And also Kurogiri was there.
I don't know who that is.
The Portal Man.
He's the Portal
The
Man.
Portal Man, right.
He's the League of Villains group dad.
Yeah.
Which is really a weird role to take, but he does.
Yeah, I like him. He's
He's
feels
really-
villainous, not because he's like a villain, but he's like, shit, the kids are into villainy.
Most of the League of Villains are actually really interesting characters because of how vague they are in their villainy.
Well, yeah. So I'm gonna pull up the League of Villains member list to pull this off.
I mean, my personal favorite of the League of Villains and of the antagonists that I've seen in the anime so far is Twice.
Yeah, but that's just because he's Deadpool.
No,
He's really
that's
not.
both wrong and
Yeah.
a vast oversimplification of my opinion.
Oh no, I am aware. That's just how everyone is like. Twice is just Deadpool, and I'm like, his like backstory is way different.
He doesn't even
His
act like
personality's different.
Deadpool because Deadpool is really cognizant and Twice is intentionally non-cognizant.
Yeah, I think that's the big difference. Deadpool feels like a more realized character, but I don't know the extent of Twice.
Twice is like. So the big thing about Twice was at the end of season 3, which I don't remember, or I don't know how much you remember, but like Twice is like, I just made a bunch of clones, and then we were like, you're the faker. And we all killed each other.
Basically,
I'm the one left.
Yeah, he basically made a ton of clones of himself to do more stuff, and then they all forgot who was real, so they all assumed they were real. They all killed each other because they went crazy, and now there's one left. And he can't remember if he's real or for sure what he's supposed to be like.
Yeah.
And that's why he is always both an opinion and its opposite, because he's pretty sure that one of those is real, but he can't remember which.
Okay, that is compelling.
Yeah. But so to go down the League of Villains member list.
Can I say something about Twice though?
Oh,
He's been injured. We've seen him get injured, right?
Yes.
But doesn't
No,
the
they're not like,
clones-
it's not Shadow Clone Jutsu. They're like,
But the clones did do something funny that was not when they got killed. We saw that.
maybe.
So he probably should not.
If
He's
his power
either
is
real-
internally consistent, then he is the original.
But he could have killed the original and stolen his power, a la Jet Li.
I mean, it's just that no one can prove that Twice's power, when applied to himself, doesn't always just leave one.
Yeah.
There's
So-
no way to prove that.
So to like go like from minor to more major in the League
Spinner.
of Villains. No, Spinner is there. So first there is Muscular, who
Yes.
is
Muscular is terrible.
he's awful.
Muscular.
No, he's not just a bad man. He's a bad character.
Yeah.
That's because
his only thing is, I want to kill. Why? Because I want to.
Because the author wanted a really, really cool fight scene, and so he made a man to realize that.
Yeah.
I feel like it worked out well in this scene, though, because I think it was like
yeah.
Deku versus just like this senseless evil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Muscular
That's
is
true.
a terrible character, but a great plot point.
Well, but I think Muscular serves a bit more of a purpose than our next candidate, Moonfish.
Moonfish.
So Muscular at least has human qualities, and therefore you have the sense of like, this isn't a man, this is a monster. And you look at Moonfish in his fucking BDSM dentist gear, and you're like, wow, this abomination shouldn't exist.
Moonfish was designed to be scary.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Yep.
He was designed to be hard to beat.
Well, also that, yeah that's true.
Then there is Mustard, who is...
Mustard is such a bad character, and I love him.
I actually really like Mustard because of how straightforward and stupid he is.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's one thing. Like the as we're going to continue to get into, the villains in MHA work so well because there's this gradient of almost overdeveloped villains, and then these tragically, but to great effect, underdeveloped ones like Mustard, where it's just like, yeah, he's there, he's evil, he's a bad man. He wants to kill the children, so he's gonna try to do it. That's Mustard.
Well, I love how the point of Mustard just boils down to, you're not a villain, you're a bitch.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like one of the big things is I think Mustard is funny because he's not like Muscular who has conviction. He's just like, man, I sure do want to kill some people. And
oh boy, here I go killing again.
Yeah, and my quirk is super powerful. But to augment that, I'm going to wield a gun.
This is my quirk, and this is my gun.
Yeah. Also, my opinion on Mustard and Spinner has been heavily influenced by Indestructible, which is now finished, and therefore you should read it, Rachel. It's finished. Read it. And those characters get so fucking fleshed out, it's not even funny. And so I'm like holding off a bit on them because I'm like,
in the actual show, they are nothing.
Yeah.
So pausing for a second, is the argument that, or lay down the position for me that it's good that characters are not developed?
Okay. So the reason it's good that characters aren't developed is there's a couple of reasons. Number one is just the I'm trying to remember what the word is, but when you compare two things, like the
juxtaposition.
Yeah, the juxtaposition between like characters who are underdeveloped and overdeveloped is interesting narratively, but it has a lot of use in sort of in any work of fiction. You're going to have a lot of characters, and they can't all be equally fleshed out, or else you don't really care either way about any particular characters. So by having these characters who are not fleshed out, then you know that they're here to serve a purpose, basically, like for the narrative. And they're not really people. They're more like set pieces that look like people, which is good in that you want to be able to have enough characters that your world feels full, but also not keep them around too long when you need to move on to get back to the characters that you are trying to develop appropriately. So I think he strikes a good balance of having enough, like a large world, but also keeping the focus on the characters he wants to develop long term.
Okay, that does convince me.
Yeah,
that has changed my mind.
That's where DC kind of trips on its own dick, where especially Marvel, where they're like, everyone's important. You're like, they can't be, like, statistically. And it's like, no, we gotta focus on everyone. And it's like, just kill some random no-name Nazis. Like, just
they're
do it.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a controversial fucking take in this day and age, apparently. But back to the League of Villain members. There's Magne.
Yes.
They're dead.
Here comes
the
Chunky.
Bird.
He's dead.
Yeah, Bird Mask Man.
No, I knew that.
Like
Overhaul is a special case. We aren't even getting to him yet.
We won't get.
We
to
won't
him.
because the fourth season isn't over yet. So.
All I gotta say about Overhaul is He's such a bad bastard man.
So already we're sowing the seeds for the next villain episode in a few months. Look out for that.
It pisses me off so much that I hate him because that stylized Plague Doctor mask fits so well into my aesthetic.
But yeah, so Magna is dead.
Alright, moving on. We don't care.
Yeah, well, they didn't have any
They didn't really do
characterization
anything before they were dead either.
That's fine. There's Spinner. He's like
a lizard.
He's Costco brand fucking man with no nose or face. What is his name? Stain.
He has no face?
What?
He
What
doesn't
are you
have.
talking about?
Hold on.
What version of Stain without a face have you been looking at?
Where
What
is it?
Slender Man crossover have you been reading?
Stain has a face.
He doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Not all of his face.
He has a normal ass face.
He doesn't have a nose.
You're right.
Yes. So I was right when I said nose, and then I was like, the nose is the only part of the face.
Yeah.
Forgot about the other parts of the face.
Yeah.
The only part of the face.
Yeah.
Can you remind me what Spinner's power is?
Gecko.
He's a lizard.
He's a lizard.
And
yeah,
he
but
uses
like,
blades.
He's a lizard.
That's not his power, though. His power is that he's a lizard.
Don't worry
you
about
can
it.
literally never fucking tell what someone's power is gonna be because like it's like you've noticed that we can have one character whose quirk is just tail,
Yeah.
but there can be 50 people who just have tails,
Yeah.
and that has nothing to do with their quirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mina has horns, and that has nothing to do with her quirk that we know of.
I don't know what that's implying, but we should
It's
see
where
that topic.
acid is stored in the horns.
Acid horns, let's go!
So then there's Twice, who we've talked about. Then there's Mr. Compress, who has a great aesthetic. And
yes, Mr. Compress.
That's it.
He is also basically a plot point.
You're so lucky that I reminded Rane who Mr. Compress was recently because
I
they
didn't
shared
remember.
a voice actor with someone we were watching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Orb Guy. He is...
Orb Man.
He does nothing except what he was supposed to do, and that's it.
He also loses
So that's
an arm.
okay. Yeah, I mean...
Which is just a plot
He's
point.
a plot point
I love a
character. He has a
magician.
good aesthetic, and he's useful, so I like him.
Toga. Important character.
Toga is...
Actual character.
Yes.
Is she?
Yes. She gets fleshed out in her interaction with Tsuyu and
She's
Ochako.
fine.
Yeah.
That's-
I'm interested to
It's
see...
in the forest.
I'm interested to see where
Okay.
she goes in the future, but right now...
Well, she has
she's
more of a character
there.
than other.
She has more. She's like an intermediate level character
Yeah.
where she has a defined character that's come up a couple of times and has
Mm-hmm.
sort of developed a little bit, but also she doesn't really do much. She's just weird and,
And
creepy
crazy.
She's
and crazy.
useful.
Yes.
She's useful for when Author Man wants the villains to be involved without you seeing that they're involved
Yeah.
until the end, and
Right.
you can get spooked.
Right. So I think
When Utushimi just melts off into being Toga, and you're like, oh.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
think she's good enough, and I'm looking forward to her getting more development in the future. But for now, I'm just like, yeah, she's pretty good.
Davi. He
I
has.
was just gonna say that
another
she makes me
character
uncomfortable.
With
Oh,
the-
you should.
another character who's going to get more fleshed out
Davi is-
imminently.
Dobby is nothing but potential right now.
Yeah.
Because we don't know anything about him. What we do know in the manga is still basically jack shit, but like a little bit more about how his quirk works.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
So Davi is a character time bomb that we'll get to
Yeah.
eventually.
So
it's a surprise tool that'll help us later.
yeah, this also is like this sparked the linguist in me because Dabi, the character from My Hero Academia, and Dabi,
Yeah.
the elf.
There
like
is a there's
I say the
there
vowels
is a
slightly
difference,
different.
I
but
mean,
it's
we could
very
also call
slight.
him Daddy.
I'm gonna pass on that one
Um,
actually.
Well, so I don't think you're aware of the theory behind Dabi, which is that he is.
I did not remember this character until looking at him right now.
Yeah, he's the hot man.
I don't know what that is.
He uses fire.
He fire burns.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember.
I just remember what happened in the parking lot.
Yeah.
When you said hot man, and my brain broke, and I just said Van the Man Man.
Yeah.
He's hot.
So
To some people, I guess.
the idea
You thought of it.
Dabi is that he is Toya Todoroki, I believe.
Yeah, Toya is the oldest that we have never seen.
He's the Todoroki.
He's the oldest male. I believe he and the girl.
Oh, Fumi might be older, I
I
guess.
thought she was I thought she was the second. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway,
She's older than Natsuo.
Yes.
So the theory is that the eldest Todoroki, who has literally never shown up in anything ever, is Dabi.
Which, I mean, is based solely off the fact that he uses fire, but
He has the same eyes.
Things.
Oh, does he have the same eyes?
He
If
does.
you look
Yeah,
at the
he
design, he has
No,
this,
he definitely
he
does.
has,
If you look at them together, they're
Okay.
very similar.
He has Endeavor's eyes. We know that Endeavor can produce blue flame.
Yes.
It's incredibly suspect that they introduced and made sure that we knew for a fact that there were 4 Todoroki siblings, but we only get to know 3 of them.
Yeah.
And also, that was the same chapter we learned their mother's name. Like, the whole thing was really heavy on Todoroki family. But this one's missing.
Don't worry
We're
about
not
it.
telling you what... They imply something happened.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna tell us what it is.
But I think it, until Horikoshi,
It's a solid theory.
yeah,
But it's definitely...
It's
still pretty
definitely
iffy.
just a theory.
Yeah.
But, I would be in no way surprised
Yeah.
if I found out that was true.
But I think I agree that, Dabi needs something to become a full character.
Dabi and Toga are waiting for their chance to be developed, really.
I don't know that Toga is getting it that much, but we
I mean, she
definitely
might
know.
not.
We know that the seeds have been sown for Dabi.
That's true. That's true.
Because
he's gotten more set up.
Yeah, because he was actually at the forefront of a recent chapter that I didn't read. I just know it exists, where we found out some stuff about it.
Okay. So then on to the 3 main people, and then we get to contrast them to No Nose Man.
No Nose, the nose guy.
Yeah. So Kurogiri, who has a lot of development for just being amorphous blob.
Kurogiri...
Does he really have development? He's just Team Mom,
Well,
and
he
he's
has
inconvenient.
personality.
Kurogiri is the opposite of muscular in that he's a character we come back to a lot who does functionally nothing.
Yeah. That his quirk is just he exists so that the League of Villains can do teleporting stuff.
Does not get caught 1,000 times.
But
he also fulfills a really important role in that Thumb Raisin Man is an absent father,
and
Shigaraki needs
a father.
Yes.
Right, yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Kurogiri
supervision.
does operate as Shigaraki's guardian, and I believe even more so following Raisin Man's incarceration.
In an alternate universe that I glimpsed briefly, you said Raisin Man Crunch, and
Following the Raisin Man crunch.
Yeah, and I
Oops,
hated
all
it.
raisins.
Then we'll skip to All For One, who has characterization, but he's just a dick.
Literally.
Yeah.
He's around long enough to be a foil for All Might.
Well, yeah, but
and to do the thing in coming of age stories where the father figure is either dies or is taken out of their role.
Mm-hmm.
So he does a lot of important stuff, but he doesn't narratively. But his characterization is extremely limited, and I think that the point was so that we didn't feel like he should have been around longer.
Yeah.
Because the point... Well, I feel like where we're going in the story now has more to do, obviously, with the characters who are still around. But given how much All For One was built up, I feel like it was pretty necessary to be like, but also, he's not going to be around forever.
Yes.
Unless he is, but I don't know about that.
No, because he works for the original intent of the story, if the internet is to be believed, was that the story ended with that fight, with All Might's retirement.
Okay.
So with that being the end of My Hero, that would have been satisfying, I think, what development we had and him functioning as a foil and all that. With it extended, he's still good, but he kind of feels like, oh, we're taking out the bad man. Oh, bad man is very bad. Let's put him back in the cabinet.
You get to play with your Raisin Man action figure once.
Yeah.
Instead of having him be the be-all, end-all, he ended up serving those roles as the foil and the plot man.
Also, I know we saw the movie together. Did you two see the movie?
We still have not had our movie night. We have so many anime movies we need to watch.
So, spoilers then for the movie that the main bad guy is like, I got my power from All For One. And it's like, cool.
Good for you, bud.
Why?
Whatever.
Yeah. So, All For One, like, they're trying to be like, he has his fingers in all the pies. He's a great chess player. And I'm just like, this fucking dumbass tried to 1v1 All Might and fucked up when he had every conceivable advantage.
I feel like
he didn't have anime power, and that's what really counts.
You're right.
Well, I feel like the way that he turned out in the story as it is now is that he's supposed to be kind of washed up.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like, because so is All Might, and that's the foil.
Yeah.
Is
That's
that by their ultimate showdown, they're both washed, and it wipes them both off the map.
You know,
So-
it just occurred to me that we give Endeavor so much shit for wanting this, like...
Number one.
This is not my full Endeavor defense.
We don't have time.
We don't have time
Yeah.
for that. But it literally just occurred to me that we give him so much shit for having wanted this, like,
Number
battle
one spot.
between the successors
Uh-huh.
that, like, if he can't beat All Might and All Might's gone, then that means that his son has to beat All Might's successor, and that seems so stupid. But what the actual big thing in the manga.
Oh, it's Tomura versus Deku.
Is Deku
Is
versus
Shigaraki
All For One's successor.
Versus Deku. You're right.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's a good point, and I do want to get into that more. But again, since we have been going on forever, and we still need to talk about Stain.
Yeah.
I mean, Endeavor and Interlude over. We'll get to that another time because I have plenty of things to say about Endeavor.
He's a dick.
I don't disagree.
So, to kind of start off then with the thing about Stain and dumbass, what's his name? Shigaraki. The thing you posited to me was that Shigaraki was a better villain than Stain,
Shigaraki becomes a better villain than Stain was in his whole thing.
Yeah.
His whole arc of piercing his own lung like a dumbass.
Hit him with the seppuku. So that is a hot take on the internet, where if you were like, I think Stain fucking sucks compared to Shigaraki, people would be like, wow, this person doesn't have a single brain cell.
And I look like I'm afraid of hot takes?
No, that's a fair point.
You bring up a great point, because that's actually why I started developing my ideas on this topic, because it struck me just how ironic it is that the whole point of Stain in the manga is how completely flawed and bullshit his worldview is, and then everyone in universe goes batshit over it, and they're like, oh, it makes so much sense, like he's so interesting and deep, and he's got all these great ideas, and the point is that they're stupid, that he's a bad man, and that none of it makes sense.
Well,
and then, hold on one sec.
Okay.
And then we come out of the manga world and into real life, and everybody's like, Stain is such a great villain with all this great motivation. And it's like, no! Yeah. Did you read the same manga as I did? Did we watch the same show? The point was that he's dumb, that his motivations are paper thin and don't make any sense, and that he's a terrible villain. He's a scary, scary man who's killed a lot of people, but in terms of being a character with depth, he isn't.
Like, so, I will play devil's advocate and say that I think his motivation at its core of there are heroes in it that are not true heroes is an interesting motivation. I, however, think that he's a dumb bastard man that is undercut in the same manga by Uraraka, whose motivation is, man, I want to just fucking pay for my parents to have, like, a comfy life.
Exactly.
And that is pitched as, like, still a noble thing to do. That Ida and Midoriya and everyone are like, oh, that's like, you shouldn't feel ashamed of wanting to be a hero. I can't believe
you're segueing into my Moneta defense.
Uh-oh. You can't get into that either. Back to Stain. So here's my counter to that point. It's in two parts. The first part is the cool story bro still murder part, where it doesn't matter what your motivations are, if you go around fucking vigilante murdering people,
you're a bad person.
You're a bad person.
No, you're right.
And as a matter of fact, it doesn't matter what you think.
Yeah.
But the second part is this idea, this weird moral superiority that if you are a person who helps people, who saves people, if you're doing it for a selfish reason, that makes you bad. Which is ridiculous at its very core. This idea that you have to be completely selfless, in order to be a quote-unquote good person or any kind of hero is ridiculous, because it falls back onto the paradox of selflessness, which is that the idea of selflessness in and of itself is unfalsifiable. You can always argue that someone is doing something for a selfish reason.
Yeah, because like,
be it adoration, the good fuzzy feeling they get, money. It doesn't matter. There's always a selfish reason. Yeah. Does altruism exist? Maybe, maybe not. But the point really is, if you are not truly altruistic, but you're making altruistic actions, does that make you a bad person? And the answer is obviously the fuck not. Hello, if you save people from a raging fire for a paycheck, those people aren't dead. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, so one of my things is that my dad was a paid firefighter, and I didn't walk up to my dad and be like, you fucking sellout. Like, how dare you save those people for money?
If you don't save people's lives just for the sake of it, then you actually deserve to die yourself.
I just pushed my dad, like, off a roof.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I think Stain is a fucking dumbass. I think that if Stain had left, like, a manifesto that had been like, hey, there's corruption in the hero associations, and Endeavor is the number 2 hero, even though he's objectively a dick and isn't doing heroism, like, for good reasons, and also has done some really horrid things.
Wait, in this hypothetical, how does Stain know that Endeavor's a dick?
Look,
Stain has dick sense powers.
No, Stain is an investigative journalist. No, but like, I'm just saying, like, hypothetically, the most powerful argument for in defense of Stain would have been, like, if Stain was like, yeah, like, look at the Hero Association, look at how corrupt it is, look at who's at the number 2 spot right now, and, like, somehow he knows that, like, he ruined Ray's life. He's like, look what he's done in the name of heroism. And also
I'm gonna get to my
don't-
Endeavor
we
defense
don't
if you keep
have
talking about
time
this bitch.
for the Endeavor defense, but the TLDR of it that I can say for this argument is that Endeavor has saved hundreds of people's lives. So you really have to sit and think, should we have stopped this man from saving hundreds upon hundreds, if not thousands of people's lives, because he is a bad man or not?
No, but I think the argument that a lot of people imagine Stain is making is that we've been failed by the government. They should arrest bad heroes, and they're refusing to do so. So I'm going to take matter into my own hands and kill them.
Right.
And I'm like, what? First of all, like,
but he doesn't.
You could just
even...
start a Flyers mode.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, Finn.
Yeah, I've had a point the last few minutes, but I haven't gotten a chance.
Apologies.
So why does this not make Stain a good villain? Because I see all of this as evidence that he's a good villain.
Okay. So, my argument is that Stain is a bad villain in the sense that his motivations are weak, and he's a very two-dimensional character. But on the same coin, and I will freely admit this, Stain is an incredibly well-written villain who serves his purpose tremendously well. So, Stain does what he's supposed to do, which is be two-dimensional, have a terrible argument that everyone seems to agree with anyway, for no real reason. And that's really interesting, and it serves the plot in a really good way. But Stain is not a developed character with good motivations.
Okay,
and my point is that there should be a division between those two things, because people seem to get them confused, and then they argue the wrong point. Yeah. People get confused that those two things must be the same, so then they say Stain is a good villain, and then they end up arguing that his motivations make sense, because they fall into this trap, and they don't make sense, and he's a terrible villain. He's a great character. He's very well written.
What's an example of a villain whose motivations do make sense and is a good character? And a good villain?
Funny Valentine. So, like...
I mean, shouldn't it just by virtue of being a villain make them have bad motivations?
No, so...
Because they've got to be wrong.
It's not about whether or not they're right or wrong. It's about whether or not their motivations even make sense.
Yeah.
They don't, like, Stain's motivations don't even make internal sense. The main victim of Stain that leads to the whole thing in the anime is Ida's brother, who, by all rights and measures, is a remarkably selfless and good hero who Stain attacked at random.
Okay.
So the big argument that I see a lot in defense of Stain is, he's just like the Joker. And I'm like, what you've said is very wrong in so many different ways that I'm really amazed that you were allowed to say it.
I know so little about the Joker. Like, I could only barely pull him out of a lineup. Even I know that's not true.
Yeah. Well, so the big defense I've seen is that Stain's ideology is kind of mappable onto the ideology of the Joker in The Killing Joke. Where you can extrapolate that. So, very briefly, The Killing Joke is about the Joker kidnapping and torturing Jim Gordon and trying to prove that anyone can just have a random bad day that's bad enough to make them a villain. Because that is, according to him, what happened to him. And so a lot of people are like, he's doing this to prove a point, and that's what Stain is doing, and Stain's trying to show that heroes are corrupt too. And I'm like, wow, you're wrong. First of all, the Joker, like, freely admits that he's just doing what he's doing for fun. Like, that he's not trying to prove a point most of the time. The Killing Joke is a big, like, departure from that characterization. Also, the Killing Joke takes so much goddamn time to set up that, like, he's trying to prove a point, but he's also still crazy. Like, there's a really good panel of the Joker looking, like, really sullen and sad when he realizes that he's still not proving a point to Batman. And then you cut to Stain being like, I'm gonna kill these kids! And it's like, no, he's like... And there are some people that
You're corrupt because you're trying to stop me from murdering people at random! And it's like, no, Stain, that's clearly wrong.
What's worse than a hero? A child.
Yeah. And the other one is that, Stain is justified in being random because the Joker is random and we like the Joker as a villain. I'm like, hold on. But the other argument is that he's methodical about it. Those two aren't compatible. Like, and that's the thing, is that I think he's a bad villain because he isn't an honest villain. I think that when you look at, like, even someone like Poison Ivy, who has really fucking paper-thin motivations of save the plants, humans bad for ecosystem, kill all the humans. Like, that's really thin on the ground. She still at least, like, owns up to it and is like, I just want to fucking kill people and, like, promote plant superiority. That's what I want to do. Those are my motivations. But Stain doesn't come out...
Just a plant supremacist?
Yeah.
Nice.
I can't believe it. But Stain's out here like, I want to fix corruption. And someone, like, shouts from the back of the crowd, you just want to murder people. And he's like, how dare you say that? You're a bad person. I'll murder you for saying that.
Exactly.
And I think another thing is, like, Ida going off in a rage and being like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of Stain. Stain's like, you're proving my point. And I'm like, no! He's a child that's learning to be a hero, and also you crippled his role model in a random act of violence.
For no reason.
Yeah. What you did was wrong and bad and stupid.
He wants to arrest you.
I mean, what Ida did was bad because revenge isn't healthy. And that's about the only reason.
Yeah. It was more that, like, Ida, this won't make your brother any better. But it's not that this shows that Ida is a violent psychopath that can't be a good hero. Like, and also a really good thing is, like, man, we really hate that time that Ida got angry, but we sure do love that time that All Might got really angry. And I'm like, if only Stain were alive to see his fucking role model be a bitter old man just like him. So, I think I've exhausted the pool of Stain.
The Stain
stupid.
Pool.
Yeah.
Stain
I don't like Stain Pool. I don't like that word.
Stain is really well written and serves the story beautifully. But he's just a bad villain because he just doesn't...
Yeah.
He just doesn't villain properly.
Yeah.
Is the real moral of the story.
Like, and that's something that I want to reiterate, is that, like, I think you can have inconsistent characters or, like, really bad characters, like Frollo from Hunchback. Inconsistent character. Dick. Doesn't say or do anything that he means and goes against a lot of his internal mechanics. Really well written character. Great character.
You're making eye contact with me? I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, really? But, like, great character, and the point of him is to show that human beings aren't rational, and that they do shit that is wrong, and they lie about it. And I'm like, isn't that kind of the point of Stan? And people are like, no, Stan's a deep vigilante. And I'm like,
It's like, no, I do not think so.
All right.
Wait. So would you say Frollo is also a bad villain?
Yes.
I haven't seen this.
Yes.
In our distinction that we're making to prove a point,
and
basically.
like, I can't wait for people to ignore our distinction and be like, what are you talking about? Frollo's a great villain. I'm like, yes, he is a great
written
villain, and I think he serves as a villain really well. He's dumbass.
Yeah.
So while wrapping up, I think I'll say I can't wait to hear Cody's take on this, where we have to have a 2-hour-long episode of Cody being like, "You're wrong," and here's why, and tells
Feel
us.
free to not invite me back for that.
Yeah, and tells
Feel
us.
free to just send him to our house and I'll punch him.
Yeah, and Cody, I know you're listening. The manga isn't real.
I've never even heard of a manga.
Yeah.
Who reads mangos?
Mangos? Yeah,
It's my favorite fruit.
Yeah. So... I'm trying to think of, like, all the wrap-up things that we say. Tune in next episode for... What are we doing next episode?
Let me look.
Tune in next episode for the following episode.
We do not know.
Okay, we could do a bunch of things. We have a bunch of notes. We might do, pardon me, the idea that we had for getting a rant. I don't know if that showed up on the capture, but a really weird sound happened in the background, and we're all like, what happened? We might do the pilot idea for, like, we just get a prompt that we have to talk about, like, without doing prior research. There's a bunch of things that we could do. Follow us, or no, not follow us. We don't have a Twitter or whatever. Use r /foolsandfiction to comment on episode stuff, give us ideas for episodes, or just call us sellouts, or do whatever. Oh!
Speaking of selling out, can we hand you money right now?
Yeah. So, hold on. Hand me $1.
Babe, do you have any cash?
I don't have any cash.
All right. I'll give you an IOU.
Okay. Will that be payable in Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A is a lot more than $1.
That's fair. Will that be payable in, like, a lemonade from Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
This episode is sponsored by Rane's Patreon, which is...
My Patreon. It's Kennedy Q Music. Patreon.com/Kennedy Q Music. Also on SoundCloud. SoundCloud.com/Kennedy Q Music. Listen to my music. I like it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's okay. I am...
Also, check out the Facebook page that I'm in charge of.
Oh, right! There is a Facebook page for that. Rane makes music using Pokemon cries as samples. And also some other music. I pay $10 monthly to Rane. Not, like, in person. This isn't, like, an extortion ring. No, I just sponsor them, which means I get double the power of votes for what the next track should be.
It also makes this sponsorship deal a little weird.
Yeah. But you should, at the very least, give them a check out and see if it's something you'd like to sponsor. Email us at foolsandfiction@gmail.com. Alternatively, hack us and send us spam email, so we have to change the password again.
You can just send us spam emails. You don't have to hack us.
Yeah.
Do
Like,
both.
I get
Send
to
us
come in our
spam emails
inbox.
from our account.
Yeah, that'd be a goal.
Squeaker.WMPC, I think? How close was that?
Spreaker.com/user/PNWM.
Wow, I was so wrong. I got the WM correct.
You forgot the /user though.
Yeah, whoops. You can listen to us there, or listen to other podcasts that actually have, like, a production budget and
Budget?
things.
Money?
Yeah. I think that's it.
Leave us an iTunes review. If
Oh,
you would,
right.
and comment on our show on iTunes.
All right. With that being said, unless anyone has anything else to say, goodbye. Please, for the love of God, turn the podcast off.